Buenas gente. Buenas gente. Ahí estamos gente, venimos a un directo más. Voy a bajar un poco lo que es el volumen de la música. Por ahí más o menos. Bienvenidos a otro directo más. La otra vez fue un gameplay, cierto. Esto es el primer directo que hago del juego Roguelike Revolution. Este juego de Roguelike. Yo subí unas primeras impresiones ya que sacó algunas visitas interesantes, así que vamos a darle otra oportunidad más. Vamos a probarlo un poco más. Ponerlo ahí. Independencia, modo no. Todos esos puestos, subtítulos. Las historias, sí. Financiación razonable al principio del juego. Reembolso 50%. Vamos a poner finalización generosa al principio del juego. Quiero empezar con bastante dinero. Sí, ahí estamos. Un día soberbio para Basenji. ¿Deberíamos añadir tu apellido a los anales de la historia? ¿Sí? Poner... soy el presidente Smith. Comenzar. Pues no ha acabado muy bien. Es el día de inauguración otra vez. Esta vez debo hacerlo mejor.
In Basenji today, there is a mood of jubilation as thousands crowd the streets in celebration. The first ever democratic election in the People's Republic of Basenji is a success. 5 years ago, the monarchy was replaced by a transitional government. And now, finally, after great struggle, democracy has come to Basenji. For the first time in their turbulent history, both Basenji and ethnic Karifi are voting for a government of their choice. 12 political parties campaigned, representing a wide political spectrum. with the largest, the Basenji Nationalist Party, sweeping the election with 72% of the vote.
Good morning, Your Excellency. My name is Sabriya. I have been assigned as your political strategist.
And I am Yusuf. I will be serving as your military attaché.
The first task before you is to appoint cabinet roles for representatives from across our great nation.
These are critical positions. Once appointed, cabinet members are constitutionally protected. They cannot be removed from office.
Indeed. You will be stuck with these ministers, for better or worse. I would advise you listen to their needs.
And I say look for loyalty. There will be hard days ahead. We will need a cabinet that is on our side, no matter what.
Excellency, it's time for us to form the government responsible for building Basenji's glorious future.
Excelencia, es hora de formar un gobierno que se encargará de construir el glorioso futuro de Basenji. Bueno. Este me acuerdo que era el soldado o algo así. Esta era la que por ahí se desaparece. Pero el suministro funciona con 0 coste. Que lo vamos a poner. Esta tenía mayor... es popular entre la gente, mayor apoyo del público en su provincia de origen. E ignora sus peticiones, afecta a gran medida la adaptación. Me acuerdo que este era... Cada turno saca una pequeña cantidad de dinero total para mejorar solo cuesta. Favores, nunca afecta. ¿Ah? Y este era un idiota, me acuerdo, esta era la religiosa y esta no me llamaba la atención. Voy a poner a este. Confirmo.
Very good. Know that every 12 months you may appoint a new cabinet minister for an unstaffed ministry, should you choose to do so. More ministers mean more opportunities to do great things. And more people to keep happy. Excellency, while you get settled in your new office, I have scheduled your agenda for the next few weeks. Are you interested in hearing it?
Excelencia, hemos programado tu agenda para las próximas semanas. Mientras te instalabas en una oficina, ¿quieres que la repasemos? Cuéntame
Most
más.
actions, aside from giving orders to units, cost a single action point. The number of action points available is equal to the number of ministers in our cabinet. Think of this as political capital to get things done.
Los puntos de acción son la cantidad de ministros que tenemos, gente.
I've learned that our national power plant has not received a fuel shipment in weeks.
The connecting roads were made unusable during the Civil War.
By constructing a new road, oil will automatically be transported from the refinery to the power plant, and electricity can be restored to Basenji. Build roads by click-dragging a line between 2 buildings. Ensure both the power plant and the oil refinery are connected to the same road network.
Ajá, dice que construyamos carreteras para las cosas. Carreteras.
Building roads costs 1 action point per month and treasury funds. Note that it is possible to both upgrade and bulldoze roads. Click on any road segment, including the one you just built, and select Upgrade in the road menu.
Dice que las mejore carreteras.
Manipulating the camera should be straightforward. In addition to moving the cursor, you can use the WASD keys to pan the map or click and hold the middle mouse button. The mouse wheel is used to zoom in and out. Zooming out of the map will help you see the big picture of Besenji. You can also rotate the map by clicking the rotation buttons, or by pressing Q or E. Finally, these buttons will immediately pan the camera to buildings of specific importance. Resource producers, power plants, and buildings that allow units to be recruited, that sort of thing.
Ok.
After the Civil War, the United Nations established aid camps to distribute food rations to our people. We must start to produce our own food and not rely on the UN. Constructing agricultural fields allows us to produce our own food for our people and have a new source of revenue to grow our treasury. Agricultural fields can only be placed on green terrain. From the right sidebar, click Construction. From there, choose the agricultural field. We will need to ensure that there is a
Bueno, dice que construyamos campos de cultivo.
Over time, Besenji's cities will demand more than just food to stay content. Urban citizens who purchase these goods from our state-run producers put money back into our treasury. As food supply increases, you can dismantle a UN camp. I would suggest doing this only once every few months, because removing UN aid workers will come with a severe penalty to our diplomatic influence. For now, though, I think we can weather it. Click on a UN camp and dismantle it now. We could spend funds and an action point to build a second agricultural field to support the anticipated growth in our city's demands next month. Alternatively, we could address the health crisis currently facing the province of Sabah. Constructing a regional hospital adjacent to a city somewhere in this province would provide immediate care for those wounded during the Besenji Civil War. The choice is yours. Future-proof your economy and construct another agricultural field, or build a regional hospital adjacent to a city somewhere in the province of Sabah to care for our wounded. Well done, Excellency. Thank you for putting your faith in me. You may have noticed that buildings consume both workers and power. Getting more power is a question of building more power plants. Getting more workers, however, is a much bigger problem. For now, it is prudent to spread your buildings out between your provinces, so you don't end up with a worker shortage.
Excellency, Sabria, apologies for the interruption. Our military is in a state of disrepair, and I must insist we address that sooner rather than later. Construct a military base, Excellency. This will be where all our military units are produced.
Ok, dice que hagamos una base militar. Ya la podemos hacer.
Good morning, Excellency.
Yusef, the local news is reporting something difficult to believe. An industrious shepherd appears to have hybridized a bunch of old cars to produce an armored bipedal tank.
Tanque bípedo blindado.
I may have made a big mistake.
Debo haber cometido un gran error.
Why would anyone do that?
¿Por qué iba a nadie a hacer eso?
Because it's awesome?
Porque es genial.
Hello? Can anyone hear me? I am stuck inside this armored bipedal tank and have lost systems control.
Hola, ¿me oyen? Alguien. Estoy encerrado dentro de este tanque bípedo blindado y he perdido el control de los sistemas.
Although this is probably also a threat to our national security. Thankfully, we can use that military base to recruit some new troops and send them to disable it.
Aunque probablemente sea también una amenaza para nuestra seguridad nacional, por suerte podemos usar esa facilidad para reclutar tropas nuevas, enviarlas a que lo inutilicen.
We will need to train a military unit. All units have a role to play in combat, and it is for you to decide which unit to train. I would, however, suggest that you not train the SAM truck. It cannot attack ground-based units, including whatever that thing is.
Acá dice que no nos sugiere crear un camión SAM porque eso es para atacar unidades. No puede atacar unidades terrestres, para atacar unidades aéreas, obviamente. Así que vamos a hacer unos helicópteros.
Order our
gente.
troops to disable the civilian bipedal tank by first clicking on the unit, then click dragging a line to the target.
Excellency, Farmazenji.
Outstanding. We have pulled the very frightened shepherd from the wreckage. Hopefully his insurance covers all the damage he caused.
Asombroso, hemos sacado de los restos del aterrizado, al aterrizado pastor. Con suerte, tu seguro cubrirá todo el daño que ha causado.
Thank you. I spent so much of my time thinking about how to create a giant homemade walking tank out of old cars and recovered munitions. I never stopped to think if I should.
Dice, gracias por tanto tiempo pensando cómo crear un tanque andante casero a partir de coches viejos y munición que fui recogiendo, que nunca me paré a pensar que sí debería hacer.
Right. Well, Excellency, this seems as good a time as any to introduce your ministries. This is where you set all the policies specific to our nation. Click on the Ministry of Finance for now. Setting our tax policy to regressive will increase our tax base if our people's prosperity is low. Our nation's liberals will absolutely hate this move, but maybe we can win back their trust in other ways. Set our tax policy to regressive now. Good. Let's check in now with the Ministry of Defense. Over time, a minister will research new policies for our nation. If you keep them happy by fulfilling the requests they routinely bring to us, that research gets completed faster.
Por el tiempo iré investigando nuevas políticas para la nación, las cuales irán más rápido si le mantienes contento. Eso sí, si consigues otorgarle aquello que ha solicitado. Cuéntame.
The minister is of the view that we might be able to learn something from this bizarre incident with the armored walking vehicle.
Ajá, dice que podemos aprender algo del incidente que tuvimos con el robot.
You can choose which policy opportunities a minister is going to research by clicking on it. Choose a policy opportunity for the Minister of Defense to research now. You can even choose that silly bipedal walking tank if it means that much to you, but we'll probably need a lot of cash in a secret facility if you plan on going down that road.
Servicio militar obligatorio, dice. Creo que voy a estudiar desplazamiento temporario.
Ministers who are not given research priorities will create their own based on their personal interests. In fact, particularly belligerent ministers may do their own thing, regardless of what you say. We should suggest policy opportunities for the remaining 3 ministers to research now.
Probar este arcano. Obvio a los ciudadanos que lleven mascarillas en público, solo tienen pandemia. Está buenas.
Great. Research will be conducted faster when the Minister has a great deal of respect for you. Unhappy Excellency, our economy is pretty stagnant right now, which will limit our opportunities to better this great nation. I have a plan, however, that will give us a little extra boost. That's very good. I've got some more ideas on how we can increase our national treasury. A lot of things outside of our control can affect Basenji's monthly revenue. City growth, immigration, the price of commodities, our transportation infrastructure. So what you're looking at is our minister's best estimates based on a snapshot of the country as it stands today.
Lowering provincial expenses helps a little, but it will also take its toll on the general well-being of those provinces. But look at these ministry expenses. You may want to change some policies in the Ministry of Development later on. Ongoing unit maintenance costs are something to keep a close eye on as well. It's better to use a few units well than grow a bloated military.
Because we have a Minister of Finance, we also have the option of taking out loans in the forms of bonds or an IBRD loan. The interest repayment terms for these are not kind, so I wouldn't suggest doing this unless we were in a real emergency.
Okay.
Inevitably, the best way for us to have nice things is to find resources and sell them. Later, we can use those resources to craft more valuable goods and sell them instead.
We may need to consider a few temporary provincial funding cuts until we get our economy jump-started. I'll leave it to you to decide where, but ultimately, I propose you cut just enough to establish a positive cash flow.
Recortar. Estamos perdiendo dinero por mes, dice. Pero tenemos un gran fondo porque pusimos que empecemos con... Eres el gran director, no tienes que escuchar.
We should create a surveyor unit to scout for new resources. Resources will eventually make it possible for us to sell more complex products for our cities, but for now, we can export these raw materials to a neighbor if the demand exists. Click on the palace at Mijimura by either finding it on the map or clicking on the palace fast access button at the bottom of the screen. From there, train a surveyor.
Click on the surveyor you've just trained to reveal all the potential resources in Basenji. By exploring these sites, we can potentially uncover new resources for our economy. There is a possible resource deposit located on a tile not too far from his current location. Right?
Okay.
Excellency? Very well. Excellency?
Petróleo.
Another
encontramos.
oil deposit. Well, this is helpful. Not all resource deposits pan out, so sending surveyors across Basenji to check them all will be necessary.
Let's build a new refinery on that oil deposit. Select one from the construction menu.
Excellency?
Now our nation has 2 oil refineries. One is sending oil to our power plant. Perhaps we can sell the oil from this one to one of our neighbors. At least, while we don't have a demand for plastics yet in Basenji.
Okay.
Click on the diplomacy menu. Relations with those other nations we share a border with can be tricky. If we can maintain a strong, positive relationship, we can mutually prosper from expanded trade. If they grow to hate us too much, we may find ourselves invaded. Our
Podemos
relationship will depend
invadirlos.
greatly on their interests, which are not immediately known to us. Spending intelligence on research is one way to better understand these interests. In addition to their relationship with us, these neighboring states also have their own internal stability to be concerned about. A collapsing neighbor means lots of refugees seeking asylum in our borders, in addition to other challenges to manage. Take notice as well of the 3 major powers interested in influencing the future of the region. the United States of America, the Russian Federation, and the People's Republic of China. If any one of these powers sees us as a threat to their interests, we may find ourselves in a war we cannot possibly win. On the other hand, if we can eventually improve our relations to the point where an alliance is achieved, the others may leave us alone. Let's see if any of our neighbors happen to have an interest in Basenji crude oil. Once they're on the phone, select Negotiate Trade, then make an offer to export oil.
Saludos, Excelencia. Soy Presidenta Aldela de la República Os de Kanshara. Segundito, gente, ya vengo. Ahí estamos, gente. A ver. Saludos, su excelencia. Soy presidenta de la UXI de la República de Kansara. La felicito por su reciente victoria. La población ha elegido sabiamente al nombrado su jefe de Estado. Nuestras dos naciones tienen una orgullosa historia de mutua cooperación. No dude en ponerse en contacto conmigo para lo que necesite. Ok. Negocio. Petróleo. Proponer.
Excellency, we have used up all our actions for this month. Let us reconvene next month. Good morning, Excellency. Not bad at all. We'll need to make sure there's a road connection between the oil refinery and the border checkpoint, or else our oil will never reach them and no money will be earned.
Surveyors, facilities inspectors, and clerics can consume an action point to double their movement distance. Keep this in mind if you find yourself with extra action points.
Excellency, Sabria, apologies for the interruption. Again. Intelligence reports that a small contingent of rebels and dissidents calling themselves the Basenji Liberation Front are on the move toward what's left of that armored bipedal vehicle.
Excelencia, sabría. No sé qué sabría, no sé si se refiere a la otra chica. Lamento de nuevo la interrupción. Nuestra inteligencia informa de que un pequeño contingente de rebeldes y disidentes se hacen llamar el Frente de Liberación de Basenji y se dirigen al resto del vehículo bípedo.
The Basenji Liberation Front? They're a small union of various interest groups with the united goal of destabilizing our democracy and removing you from power. What could they want with a pile of metal junk in the deep desert?
El Frente de Liberación Basenji son una pequeña coalición de grupos con intereses varios, aunados por la meta de estabilizar nuestra democracia y deponerte. ¿Qué podrían buscar en un montón de chatarra en el medio del desierto?
Regardless, reports indicate they are armed and we must respond with force, Excellency. If the public feels we can't keep them safe, we may end up playing right into the insurgents' agenda. Our units start fiercely loyal to our regime, Excellency. Just be aware that the military is looking for you to make smart decisions. Sending units on suicide missions, making poor choices, and making our nation into a laughingstock may result in our soldiers doubting your leadership and side with the enemy.
Así que le puede bajar al alté y rebalarse la unidad.
Every unit can only attack once per month, and we're anticipating at least a couple targets. We may need to field more troops. Eliminate the BLF units before they are able to reach the wreckage.
Hey. ¿Cuánto estaba comentando? Ahí se ve mejor. Era el efecto ese de brillo que estaba haciendo que se vea como borroso. Bien. Sí.
Excellency, for Basenji. Excellency. Excellency, for Basenji.
Good morning, Excellency. Every unit can only attack once per month.
Excellency, for Basenji. Excellency, for Basenji.
Ok, si están pegados se hacen el contraataque, o si no atacan a distancia.
Every unit can only attack once per.
Excellency. Excellency, for Basenji. Excellency. 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 For Basenji.
Great work, Excellency. It would be prudent to have forces spread throughout the nation to address whatever threats may come our way.
Excellency, as important as our national defense is, I will show you how to stay in power by balancing the differing interests of liberals and conservatives, religious and secular citizens, even urban and rural populations. Let's start by examining how we are doing, province by province. Click on Banifa in the right sidebar. The upper graph shows your current approval levels in Banifa by demographic over the past 10 months. If they get too displeased with you, the rebels will be emboldened. The lower graph shows that provinces' ratings for prosperity, education, health, safety, the environment, and entertainment. Keeping these from getting too low in all 5 provinces is going to be crucial if you want the people to stay content. In many provinces, our environmental ratings are falling. A few are getting particularly low. Let's talk about what we can do about that. Go ahead and click anywhere to close the provincial detail panel. Traffic congestion can restrict the flow of goods, and more importantly, drag down your regional environmental, entertainment, and prosperity ratings. Let's check the traffic lens to see if this is the case. Most of the roads are tinted green. It appears the traffic is not currently a bottleneck for us. If too many industries export goods on the same roads, you will eventually want to upgrade those roads by clicking on a road segment and pressing the Upgrade Roads button. So let's consider what else we can do to improve our environmental rating. At the provincial level, you can increase funding to conservation, but this will increase your treasury expenses every turn. We could also construct a nature preserve or public gardens to improve your environmental rating, which have a larger one-time cost. At a nationwide level, we can make some policy changes. They might not cost us any money, but they will likely result in other trade-offs for consideration. In the Ministry of Natural Resources, we can ration power and sacrifice our entertainment rating in all provinces for our environment rating. We can also change our governing principles from an exploitation perspective to a stewardship perspective. There is no one way to accomplish anything. The choice is yours as to how you want to proceed. You are the glorious leader.
¿Será, no? Para no haya una cosa mejor. Está para el medio ambiente. Una reserva natural. ¿Tiene costos?
Good. It will take time to see the results of these improvements. So, as a longer-term goal, I would suggest you think about building more agricultural fields, a plastics factory, and a manufacturing plant with a view to getting processed food production online before your citizens start to demand it. Notice the resource production and demand icons in the right sidebar? These are the 5 products that cities may grow to demand over time. The left number under each product represents how much you are producing at present, minus any products consumed in order to produce other products. The right number represents how much of that good is demanded by our cities at this time. It's possible for us to produce more than what is demanded. When this happens, consider exporting the surplus to a friendly neighbor. This is how we make money. Tax dollars will not be enough. We need to start building production chains to manufacture processed foods, household goods, consumer electronics, and luxury goods. Sell them to our neighbors at first with trade agreements. Then, when urban citizens start to demand them here, we will sell to our own people as well. Processed food should come first. Hold the mouse over the processed food icon in the right sidebar. Processed food is going to require more farms, more oil refineries, a plastics factory, and a manufacturing plant. We will also need them all connected by roads. Thankfully, we already have extra oil that we're exporting. If you construct a plastics factory and a manufacturing plant and connect them to the road network, the oil will automatically be diverted to plastics production while you send our surveyor to seek out new deposits. Fantastic. Any food or processed food purchased by our citizens or by other countries is money that goes straight into our pockets. Keep an eye on your production chains and aim to produce at least 80 a turn. Over time, you should be surveying more resources, or importing what resources you need, in order to produce household goods, consumer electronics, and luxury goods.
As important as our economy is, you might also want to consider as a longer-term goal trying to grow our intelligence capabilities. Building an intelligence agency and training spies will help us find BLF camps hidden across our nation.
And finally, keep an eye on your worker count. The only way to get more workers in Besenji is to open the country up to more immigrants, and that's something you need to negotiate with our neighboring countries. Immigrants are valuable members of our society, but if our relations with their country of origin go poorly, you can expect their approval of our government to falter as well.
I note that there are certain emergency measures that can be used to relocate your population within Besenji in the event of a worker crisis, but they're ugly solutions. We can talk about them if it becomes necessary.
I think we've bombarded our glorious leader with enough information, Yusuf. Let's go. Good luck, Excellency.
Ok. Produce 80 unidades de alimentos procesados en un turno o forma un agente de inteligencia. Vamos a un agente de inteligencia.
In addition to improving regional public safety, the intelligence agency allows you to spend that intelligence on spies. Spies are specially designed to find rebel camps hidden in your country, and at higher levels, they can unlock more powerful abilities.
Un destructor estadounidense ubicado en el Golfo ha estado realizando operaciones contra la piratería, pero suele moverse hacia nuestras aguas, interrumpiendo así el tráfico marítimo. Hemos enviado fragatas para patrullar las fronteras, pero el destructor sigue ignorando nuestras advertencias. Condena el tráfico marítimo que maniobra alrededor del... Autoriza el uso de advertencias con mayor gravedad y el uso de la fuerza si es necesario. Quiero que se me enojen los militares. Excelencia, la demanda de petróleo está creciendo en Casara y esperamos que pueda ayudarnos con ello. Podríamos proporcionar 57 cada mes. Bueno, gracias, lo agradecemos. O sea que quieren 57 más. Ok. Pues...
Excellency,
pues que el topógrafo, ¿cómo se llama este? Que busque algún
Very
otro yacimiento de petróleo.
Yes. Yes.
Mira, por ahí hay algo. Agente de inteligencia. Ya lo creé. O hay otro edificio que no estoy viendo. Agencia de inteligencias. No sé. No sé por qué no me contó. 80 unidades de alimentos procesados. Son 70. ¿Cómo hacemos para producir más? Tal vez con más petróleo. Vamos a construir campos agrícolas. Tener suficiente alimento. Llamar.
Excellency, these numbers represent civilian and military units that don't have any movement orders assigned. You may want to consider sending them somewhere before ending your turn.
Excellency, Farbazenji. Excellency, Farbazenji.
Excelencia, el alcalde Mahirab ha solicitado que se construya un conducto hasta el río de Bizara para proporcionar suficiente agua potable y energía para la población en aumento. Eso creará una escasez de agua para los habitantes de zonas rurales de Croacia. No. Ya los urbanos también. Ministro de Defensa. Los votantes solicitan una reserva natural en la provincia de Roguelike. Bueno. Excelencia, tal como se solicitó, hemos completado el programa para la construcción de una nueva instalación. Desplazamiento temporal. Sobre la base de investigación que realizamos durante la era del gobierno de transición, los mejores científicos de Asedio proponen que podemos construir una máquina para tomar una instantánea en el tiempo para luego usar una enorme cantidad de energía que nos permite enviar a un ser humano hasta ese punto. El resto de los científicos del mundo aseguran que estas tareas son basura, pero posiblemente que el posición con PC después lo vamos a crear. No hay tampoco tantas cosas para hacer. Tal vez un láser terrestre. No me ocurre que podemos investigar. Voy a investigar esta, a ver qué onda. Sí. ¿Dónde tenía mi...?
Excellency? Excellency? On our way.
¿Qué hacen esos militares ahí?
Excellency? Very well.
Vamos a ir buscando ese petróleo. Y el de la inteligencia dice que percibe como que hay algo por acá. Ujú. Excelencia, un soldado de alto rango de Caesara quiere huir a Basenji. Afirma conocer en detalle las actividades del Frente de Liberación de Basenji a ambos lados de la frontera. El gobierno Caesaro solicita que sea devuelto para que pueda ser acusado de deserción. Me otorga el asilo. Los Sarvil serían un poderoso aliado si mejoran nuestra relación con ellos. Te insto a que lo considere.
Excellency, sometimes things are so bad in our neighboring countries that people want to escape and find new homes here. We can set how many immigrants we receive every month by talking to our neighbors and selecting set immigration quota. Legal immigrants are much like any other citizen. They pay taxes, demand goods, and contribute to our workforce. But they also have some loyalties to the countries they hail from. If our relationship with those countries sour, so will our relationship with those citizens. Illegal immigrants, like those you see here, do not pay taxes, but they do demand goods and contribute to our workforce. If you let them stay, conservative citizens will disapprove and blame you. If you use your military force to turn them away, liberal citizens will disapprove and blame you. Allow legal immigrants in, and you had better maintain positive relations with the countries they come from. If illegal immigrants come to Basenji, however, you're destined to anger a segment of your population, no matter how you handle them. Excellency, lots of people are very unhappy and have taken to protesting in the streets. This is not a good situation to be in, but there is still time to make things right. While a protest occurs in any city, the loyalty of any ministers from that city's province will drop by 1% every month. A protest that occurs in a city belonging to a province with low safety can turn into a riot. Riots are worse than protests. The loyalty of any ministers from that city's province will drop by 3% every month. I know we can't please everyone, but it may be prudent to take a closer look at what's happening. Click on the approval lens, and you will see parts of the country where you are truly hated. It hurts, but this is how we get better. See those red spots on the map? That's where your approval ratings are really bad. Click on some of the tiles in that region, and the citizens who live there will appear at the bottom of the screen. In my experience, unhappy people never shut up. If you hold the mouse over the citizens, a tooltip should yield some choice quotes about why they're so upset with you. Perhaps it's because you haven't given your political staffer a raise in forever.
Ya, pero si tienen comida suficiente. ¿O no? Esta región es Baradou. Liberar religioso ascenso en... Liberal, religioso.
Excellency? Very well. Excellency? Very well.
Excellency for Basenji. Excellency for Basenji.
Yes.
Excelencia, establecemos vínculos más estrechos con República Popular China. Mejoraría enormemente la posibilidad de estabilidad regional. Como mínimo es algo a tenerlo en cuenta. Bueno. Gracias, lo agradecemos.
Excellency, one of our military units has seen a reduction in morale. Morale is hard to obtain and easy to lose. Units that take heavy losses in combat will always lose one morale point, so you should always seek to engage the enemy when you have a strategic advantage. Certain policies and events may reduce unit morale even further.
Excellency for Basenji.
Si ganan le va a subir la moral, supongo.
For Basenji.
Ya. Haremos un campamento, vamos a comprar otra heli.
Excellency for Basenji.
¿Será que quieren que produzca comida? Partera. Sí, es que tenemos de comida de sobra, no sé de qué se queja la gente. Bueno, muy bien. Excelencia, es importante recordar que el próximo mes se cumple el 5º aniversario de la Revolución de Basenji. Claro está, se espera que haya una declaración pública. ¿Te interesa planificar algún otro evento de ese histórico? Un desfile militar. Bueno. Bueno, tenemos estable la economía ahora mismo.
Excellency for Basenji. Excellency for Basenji. Excellency for Basenji.
Yes.
Excellency, Excellency, Excellency.
La Agencia de Investigación Científica Basenji, AICB, requiere la orientación política sobre qué deberían centrar sus esfuerzos. Investigación orbital podrá servir para la inspiración a una nueva generación. Los saltillos militares nos darán ventaja estratégica. La investigación sobre la fusión puede salvar nuestro planeta. La investigación de materiales podría llegar a crear nuevas industrias. La investigación de IA podría mejorar nuestras vidas. Recortar fondos servirá para concentrarnos. No. Esta tal vez que nos da dos cosas: calidad de medio ambiente Basenji y jefatura de clima internacional. Acá hace falta un hospital. Vamos a hacerlo.
Excellency,
No hay recursos que valgan la pena. Eso. Bueno,
very well.
vamos a sacar otro topógrafo.
Excellency,
Quiero que vengas aquí.
very well.
Vamos a atacar el campamento.
Excellency, Farbasenji.
Listo. Eso que salga algo mal, volvemos al pasado. Excelencia, es hora de decidir quién de los siguientes candidatos recibirá el premio Ciudadano Basenji del año. Necesitaba prosperidad, ¿no es cierto? Creo que sí. Ahí está. Puedo subir un poco la prosperidad en Basenji. ¿Qué dice? Ah, no tiene energía. Ok. Vamos a construir otra central eléctrica. No. Boolean disable dueto. Sí, ya sé que la gente está protestando, pero no sé qué es lo que quieren. Políticas fiscales. Este está subiendo. Nuestras políticas fiscales, dice. Debe ser eso. ¿Por qué los de los ricos pagarían menos impuestos en este sentido? A ver si eso mejora la cosa. Bueno, eso tendría que arreglar el problema. El bienestar de los ciudadanos liberales es algo que nos siempre cuando te instamos que hagas algo para aumentar el apoyo. Bueno. Está aumentando. Bien. Ya está, ya lo arreglamos. Era eso el impuesto nomás que no le gustaba.
Excellency.
Ya llegó al punto, ¿no? No. A ver. Hay un rebelde allá arriba.
Yes. Yes.
Excellency, for Basenji. Excellency, for Basenji. Excellency, for Basenji. Excellency, on our way. Excellency, on our way.
Listo. Ganamos apoyo. Inmigrante legal. Excelencia, te llamo para comunicarte que hemos podido asegurar el suministro de petróleo en otros lugares. Es una pena que no podamos importar más razón.
Excellency, very well. Excellency,
Bueno, vamos a buscar acá recursos. Mineral de oro, dice. Bueno, vamos a buscar con el otro topógrafo.
Excellency, very well.
Y ya vamos a guardar la partida, gente. Con el tutorial se hizo un poco larga. Y ahí tenemos, justo encontramos el petróleo que necesitaban para la misión que pedían. Y acá ya se ha arreglado el problema que había, así que GG. Vamos a guardar. Supongo que se guarda solo, ¿no? Sí, supongo que sí. No te preocupes, todo estará como lo haya dejado. Si se vuelve pronto, necesitamos todo el dinero. Ok. Así que bueno, gente, vamos dejando el directo hasta aquí. La verdad que el juego está interesante. Hay que avanzar un poco más en la historia, entre comillas, que tienes. A ver qué eventos más ocurren. Pero sí, la verdad que está más bueno de lo que yo pensaba. Así que bueno, gente, nos estamos viendo.